life, but something that really drove him was when he was able to affect other people. There's a little bit of story of starting with his father, starting in other areas, and ending with using his art to connect to Hashem. Ariel Lewis.
Thank you. I can't express how I feel. It's like such a great honor, and it's from meeting Brother Meltzer and standing here and seeing this incredible event with amazing paintings in time where people feel that the computer is almost taking it over. So it's just unbelievable. So I wanted to share with you a story. It's a short one because I'm not going to keep it for long. But my father, Alav Shalom, he grew up in Peoria, Illinois, and he knew nothing about Judaism when he was growing up. The only thing he knew is the Aleph Beis. He grew up in a secular home, and they didn't have access to schools, and they just sent him to a Sunday school, and he learned the Aleph Beis. And he said that the biggest memories that he had is going down to his of Torah, of Judaism, going down to his father and grandfather's basement, and there was the Chumash with illustrations. So I want to tell you one story that happened to my father that impacted me later years. Because when I grew up, I went to yeshiva, I went to regular system, and I didn't think that art has the merit as other things. And then I told myself, I always had a talent, but I didn't think that this is something that I'm going to pursue, especially that I saw my father basically being an artist all his life, but he never accomplished fame from it or finance success. So for me as a child, it wasn't tempting enough. But something happened that changed my perspective altogether. My father passed away about 3 years ago. And when he passed away, he left all his art supply. And especially there was a whole studio that I built for him from wood. And he left it like that. And I didn't think that I'm going to be an artist. I mean, I was always doing art, but I didn't think I'm going to go dive into it. What the message of my father was that the artist is a free man. Because when you do art, you don't look at the clock to see if it's worth it for you financially. You do it because you're passionate about it and you're willing to do everything till the painting is going to come to the satisfaction of your art. So it's not value of money. At the moments that you're doing the art, you're completely free. And my father, everything he did in his life is to gain that freedom. In his grandfather's house, there was one painting that changed my father's life forever. It was a painting of Hasidic. You know the famous look of Chassidim, the dancing kind of Chassidim, tzitzis. He saw it as a child, it didn't struck anything, it just moved on in life. My father was, in the time of the hippies, he was a conductor in Chicago Symphony, and he really was aiming to great success, and the hippie movement brushed through his university and took him with him. And he took all his powers in music and he took it to the hippie movement, and he was even a warm-up band for Janis Joplin, for those of you who know her. And he moved on with that movement, and he lost all a desire to continue with the passionate classical music. Until one day, he was in Boston, and there he saw, he was almost to become a player for a Christian orchestra. And he saw there a book, and in the book there was a picture of Ma'aseh Merkava. Obviously it was not a Jewish book, but it struck him so hard that he decided that it's not for him, and he left the same day. He flew all the way to Los Angeles. He got up from the airport and he started going on the streets walking towards UCLA because he was a student, and that's how he got along. On the way he was walking, he saw Chabad house. And it didn't change much for him. He saw everything, all the Avodah Zaras in the world, everything he saw. So it wasn't anything, it didn't took anything for him. But there was one thing that changed completely his eyesight. When he saw there was a rabbi standing with his tzitzis on the stairs. He saw the tzitzis. I remember the painting that he saw when he was a child. That's what lit him up. And my father obviously went all this journey, and here we are, I'm here, and here's my brother, and here's my wife and my son over here. And all of that is the result of this painting that woke my father's mind at the right moment at the right time. So, when it came clicked in my brain when my father passed away, that my father wasn't an artist, not for the finance reason, not for fame, because he didn't pursue that. It was one reason alone. Because he drew the freedom of expression and freedom of being without needing to comply with the world noise. So, and these 3 years, I changed my concept altogether, and I started making paintings. I'm a Baroque flute maker, and here my son I'm going to show you in a minute. I started from being an different art, but it was more of the wood things, but it's not a real art, because it's just, you have to make a very, 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 very great flute that stands the standards of symphonies. So it wasn't anything like an art expression.
Can I just add something?
Yes, please.
Before the wood art, he is a superstar. He wrote his first Megillah when he was 15 years old, and he sold it.
Yeah, so all my life I've been writing. Thank you.
He wrote from all over the world, about 20 Sifrei Torah, Nosach Harizal, Sephardi, Alter Rebbe.
Yes. So, and that was the change. The change was that I got an invitation to make an art gallery in the center of Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is very, very, very not, religious-oriented place. And I had paintings of the Rebbe. That's my expertise. That's what I went into that, because this expression, my father has such a big akar satay for the Rebbe, and it really, and my father's face is really very similar to Rebbe's face. I'm sure many of you feel like that. Rebbe has like, and that's how we remember it. And I have like this kind of connotative. So I do a lot of Rebbe's painting, and then in that art gallery there was a man that came all the way to my house after the show was finished. He came all the way from Tel Aviv, drove all the way to my house, knocked on the door, and opened the door. The guy was full with tattoos and earrings, and he said, "Listen, I saw a painting of the Rebbe that size in this gallery. I want it." He says, it's been half a year that I'm studying Tanya in Tel Aviv, and in my house there is that big, large painting of something that is not appropriate, and I want to replace it. And that's what he did. He replaced the painting of the Rebbe with his painting, with the other thing that he wanted to take off. So doing that gave me even more understanding of the idea of the shlichus, that in paintings you can radiate love, radiate kindness, radiate goodness, and especially radiating the blessing of Hashem, that He made such a beautiful world, and you can use your interpretation of that. So just to finish, I'm going to play for you one note on my Baroque flute, because that's what led me to this art. So this is a special Baroque flute. I'm a Baroque flute maker. Baroque flute is the father of all modern silver flutes. Today there is a new age that people want to play back the Renaissance music. So there's a lot of orders from all over the world. There's many makers, about 10 of them in Europe and 1 of them in Israel. And this flute is made out of olive wood from Jerusalem. And I went from the blessing of my father. I went to Germany to know how to do it. So for me, it was just, it was a very hard labor. And I'm going to play one note because I think that this is one of the most sweetest and gentle sounds that there is. I hope you're going to know the tune.
Coming time married to Shaul for a special tour for art and some of your success in all areas. I continue to enjoy the art, and if you look around, I hope it works, but if you want to comment